I fuck Chelsea a million times, bro. Energy levels, people. Raise it, man. Flipping one. You know what? Hey, this shit is gonna slap today. Let's go.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Come on. Hey, people deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. The 3 points debt collectors are back. You know, as rumors have it, Saka, Smith, Rowe, and all them, man, they are still gully creeping at the Stamford Bridge dance floor. You know what time it is when we play at that shed. You know, Thomas Tuchel was laughing with Arteta before the game. Maybe he knew what time it was. And what I will say is, can we play the man there every week? We might be all right, you know. Look, Cobham, what? In fact, you know what? Hail up Cobham, because we've been getting your rejected youngsters and they were doing all right. Shout to Eddie Nketiah, who bagged the brace, the best Cobham lad on the pitch, technically. You know what time it is. Smith Rowe, Gully, you know, Saka, elite stuff. And man to a man, young or old Arsenal, we did our thing. Let's not lie. Defensively, it was Bandulu. It was terrible defensively, but we slugged through. We did what we needed to do. 3 points, debt collectors were back. Celebration police, you know, that we've been missing for a minute, but now the celebration police are going to be back onto us. I don't know what the United game is going to say, but it's amazing. The youngsters are stepping up, Cobham in the mud. Tuchel trying to, you know, to be fair, they had injuries, but tried to violate us. You can't be playing them lone army dons like Saar. You know what time it is. It's not safe. It's not safe out here. How many times have we been boring up and punning up these idiots? Mason Mount, you're lucky you never got a red, you pussy, old, but it ain't nothing. You know, it is what it is. We had time, you know, I hear all this talk about Chelsea not playing their strongest team and them thing there, and they're right. But last time I checked, I never saw Tommy Asu, Thomas Partey. I never saw Kieran Tierney. Lacazette, all fans have been doing about how he balances the side. He never started. £52 million man on the bench. Add another 20 million, £72 million man on the bench. Inexperienced Tavares. El Nene ain't played in a few months. Rob Holding, you know, Gabriel, new hairline. Who's this? Ramsdale moving Buki. Ben White moving Buki. Defensively, we were Banduli. The whole 22-man base was Banduli. You know, the 2 goals we conceded, we need to do a lot better. The 4 goals we scored was amazing. You know, Martin Odegaard controlling, you know, Jacadinho controlling, Saka controlling, Smith Rowe controlling. There's so many agendas. You know, I've got, you lot can't see, but you know I always have on the best of day hella tabs open, people. I've got bare tabs open. We got time today to speak about this game. Man United probably a different entity in itself, but we'll deal with that tomorrow. The players need to switch on for us. Let's get back to it, innit, people? So yeah, you know, obviously, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. I hope everyone's doing well and safe. Smell something. What's that? Is that the Mason Mount 41? Reece James 42? The Chelsea pack? Smells dank still, man. Anyways, let's get back with this. Hey, we know what time it is, man. It's lit, man. I can't lie, we was due this. I can't. But that bashed up my eyes still. Big up DG live and early. I was just watching Matisse's stream of the game to soak it in. Bare Chelsea fan channels. It's a good day, bro. Chelsea fan channels and chill, bro. Man's watching that Gideon Zalal MU as well. Yeah, I'm watching it. Love it, bro. 3 points, brigade, but you know what time it is, man. It is what it is, man. Big up you lot. I can't lie, the performance and the result in isolation is job well done from the systems, tactics, and approach. But where was this for our previous 3 games? We've got to be consistent. You said it there. I do think the tactics were good. I do think mentally, you know, there's, like you said, if we look at this on an isolated incidents, like if I was to judge what I would want to call a convincing performance away from home against the European champions currently, and obviously a top 4 side, clearly you want to be. The first 10 minutes first 5 were techie from an Arsenal perspective. Techie. I'm not gonna lie. We were both, as I said, you might praise your team for scoring, but the 6 goals scored at Stamford Bridge yesterday, Thomas Tuchel and Arteta is gonna, when the emotion dies down, it's not good enough, innit? first 5-10 minutes, you know, we were quite shaky. You know, I don't think there was enough communication. We was giving the ball away cheaply, you know, holding and El Nene not really playing. They had to get a bit of cobwebs out. I think we was giving the ball away cheaply, and I think it's highlighted with Saka and Ben White kind of for the second goal. Obviously Nketiah for the first, but that was coming in it. So I would say we need to do better at that. Look after the ball and things like that. Defensively, you know, the only improvements really defensively, I would say game management, because you know, we obviously scored 4 goals, you know, 3 from open play. But, you know, it's like the first goal we scored, we held on to the lead for 5 minutes. The second goal we scored, we probably held on to the lead for equally the same time. So away from isolation, them things there got to be better. But again, I've seen us play better again. You know, we played better against Liverpool, not got nothing. We played, you know, Arsenal fans, you would think we'd have beat City the way we waffle about that result, but we never got nothing. So do we want the result or the 3 points? Of course you want both. And football's a funny old game, but it's a game where tactics necessarily, to a degree, it's cliche, but tactics, form, all these things there go out the window. I saw fight, I saw heart, I saw desire, I saw hunger. I saw a team that wanted to put things right. And in the same way, Brighton might have looked at us and said, this is where we put our winning run together. You know, in Southampton, the same, we did that, you know. As I said, I hope Rob Holding gassed these lot about the FA Cup semi-final. I hope Saka led the team talk. All we need to do is watch the wins we've had at Stamford Bridge and get gassed off that. All we needed to do is watch last season. Obviously, Smith Rowe and Saka doing what they're doing. Odegaard gets an assist, a brace from Eddie Nketiah, which is great for him. We all want him to do well. HALE and Demons running riot. I don't think anyone was amazing, and I think I actually don't blame Tavares for the second goal. I do think we're going to get into all of this. I do think he's gone to sleep, but there's actions where it could be stopped. It's a bit like blaming Ramsdale. Ramsdale, he's been a bit shaky. Couple of incidences. Even when he was in form, there was a couple of goals we like, could he done a bit better? Our goalie's our last line of defense. We've given the ball away very cheaply. Players are kind of turning their back. Yeah, it's taking a deflection and there's no excuse, but, you know, we need to stop things at the root cause. You know, again, before I forget, you look at the goals Chelsea conceded, the first one. That's what Eddie Nketiah can give you. That's what a striker with legs can give you. You know, the bar, let's be honest, the bar's on the floor up front at Arsenal. Against Southampton, I think Eddie Nketiah deserved to keep his spot purely because he was running around. I forgot what it was like to see a striker work the channels. And you saw it against Southampton, little bits and that's Lacazette, you know, probably going to be where Ramsdale is by the time Christensen makes that mistake, really. So that's what just having legs can give you, and chasing lost causes. And Eddie has scored that because you're taught that in football at Sunday league level. Expect the centre-half to make a mistake, gamble, and he's done exactly that. I do think Reece James is caught out of position there, much like the second goal Eddie scored. You know, Reece James and Aspilicueta have sold each other short. Saw Thiago Silva, if I can remember correctly, and probably Kante. It's Bandulu in it. Like everything was Bandulu in that game, from Eddie Nketiah's second touch for the second goal to the way it's bounced off them Chelsea man till he slapped it in. But it, you know, it's cliche, but it's not necessarily about form, about quality, about tactics. It's about desire. And I think, you know, obviously, for us fans, Banter, obviously, I'm going to give it to Matisse Pause on Rancy's stream and that. For Arsenal fans and that, it's good, it's banter and that, but it's done now, innit? Man have to focus on Man United because we've achieved nothing. You know, the season's not done. As much as I'm happy that we beat Chelsea and bragging rights as that in the sense of it's just a good night for us. They're finishing ahead of us. They've done better than us, but we need to get back on it, really, you know. I'm happy that, you know, a couple of players can take heed. I think Tavares had a better game away from home. El Nene, after the first shaky 5 minutes, kind of settled. I did think Odegaard took about 20 minutes to wake up, but when you're that good, you do what you want. Smith Rowe, Saka. I actually liked Martinelli and more so Cedric's cameos as well. Obviously, defensively could do a lot better. Like, I think Holding was a bit, everybody, but Holding was a bit shaky. I think Ben White was probably the poorest player on the pitch for me, but it is what it is, man. We got the 3 points. We get a bit of confidence. You know, we need to, for me, we've got 1 win in our last 4, 3 defeats, 1 win. So I need to see that flipped. I need to see 4 wins and 3 defeats in our last 7 sort of thing. I need to see 3 wins and 3 losses. So we've achieved nothing, you know, as great as it is, and running Bants, we've not done anything. You know, we've put ourselves back in the top 4 to top 6 debate. But if you go and lose to Man United, what is said then? So yeah, it gives us a bit of confidence. The games aren't getting any easier, people, at all. So you're right. In isolation, job well done. System, tactics, for me, more so the approach. because the tactics for both managers probably to a degree, if I'm honest with you, probably went out the window. I'd say the approach, and I would say big up Arteta, because I did like him fighting the officials and all those things, but the players, you know, they made stupid mistakes, but we've seen our players crumble. They accepted it, they went again. Yeah, Chelsea are missing players and they can console themselves with that fact and their facts, but you know, we're missing players as well. Who's more likely to miss the impact? Who's more likely to cope with their key players not being there? The current European champions, and they've won a Premier League in more recent years than us. And Chelsea are the third best team in the Prem, and they were the team people were talking about winning the league. Or Arsenal that finished back-to-back eighth, the youngest squad in the side. You know, in the best of days, let's be honest, it worked for Eddie and Nketiah, it worked for Tavares, it worked in midfield. But on another day, we're looking at these things rather shakily. So yeah, man, it was a good performance, I would say, in terms of getting it over the line. The game made no sense, you know. The second goal, we almost conceded a third, really, and I don't know what's got over Xhaka. I don't know. Maybe Xhaka was watching Santi Cazorla or Ronaldinho videos, but he's become Xhakadinho, dance past couple man, fed it to Odegaard. Odegaard and Saka have done their thing. Then eventually Smith Rowe is finished. There was another incident where Smith Rowe fired just wide, where I would have loved for him to have grabbed the goal. You know, it's nice to see the young tugs have found their goal scoring boots again. You know, never ever disrespect them Haylanders. Never ever disrespect Martin Odegaard. Arsenal at their worst is our kryptonite. Do you know what it is? I don't think it's fair to say Thomas Tuchel downplayed Arsenal or underrated Arsenal or anything like that, because he had to make enforced changes. Like, obviously, if they have Kovacic, probably Jorginho, maybe an informed Kante. If Rudiger's there, it's probably a different ball game. But yeah, man, are trying to let Lukaku stat pad against us, and that it was meaty, really and truly. So it is what it is. But as I said, we need to focus on Manchester United, because they've had a day won or lost. That takes a lot out of you physically, mentally, and emotionally. So yeah, man, it is what it is. Can we play them every week? Is what I would ask. Rashford scored 2 goals against us to kickstart his United career. Maybe this is the start for Eddie. I hope so. I hope it's the start for Eddie. I hope it's the start for Eddie, man. I hope it's the start for Eddie and Nketiah. But I'm not gonna rewrite history and them things there. But yeah, man. Yo, morning DG. It was hard watching you guys put 4 past them in a single game, which we couldn't do in 4 times. All stages being set for North London. You're right, but at the same time, bro, you man got 6 points of City in it, so everybody gets their time, man. I always feel, it sounds a bit mad to say I'm feeling myself, but I'm always feeling myself. Come on, when you look like this and your team's won, of course, come on, man, pretty and pink and everything there, you must have lost it. Well, Arsenal, we are shameless, bro. Of course I'm shameless. What do you think this is? All of a sudden, what, top 40? After dissing us, we're all doing it. Was all dissing us, we won. What? These players are the best. Give Eddie a new deal. Top 4 is back on. Bro, shameless. You've got to be. What else have I got this season? I ain't got no trophies. I got to be shameless. Best players in the world when we win. Hey, get crazy, bro. Of course it's a cup game, brother. Of course it was like a cup game. Arsenal, that's what we do. You're going to ask yourself the cliche questions, as I am as well. Where was this 3 games ago? Why did we do this? Why did we do that? Why did we do the third? Really, you know, but it is where it is. But I'm not going to get... Obviously, the Bulls won yesterday as well. I liked Eddie's second goal. But this is the thing I like about Eddie. It's not necessarily take nothing away from Eddie. It's like, bro, Arsenal, you see what happens when... Well, both teams really need a striker that can score goals. But, bro, a striker that can just run, like, just chase lost causes, just win little fouls. And I know Eddie made a mistake for the goal we conceded and whatnot. But, yeah, like, we've been starved, and I'm not even going to rewrite history on Lacazette. I know Lacazette at this moment in time's meaty, but, you know, credit to him, you know, he was a big part along with the whole team of getting us in this top 4 debate. My point being is, Eddie, I hope this is now where he goes, because he has been improving. You know, he's got a bit stronger. For me, Eddie's getting involved. I've said this before, he's getting involved a lot more generally. He can play as an inside forward, so he is developing, and he's going to make a good player elsewhere, probably because his contract's running down. But I think this shows that a lot of these players is flavor of the month. You know, Eddie and Nketiah, I don't think it was a big call necessarily to start Eddie and Nketiah, because many fans wanted that anyways, because Lacazette's been poor. But, you know, Lacazette was the thing for a point. Eddie's probably deserves to start against United. Whatever happens there, happens there. This is why we need a couple of players that give us these consistencies. Like, Xhaka's been all right this season by his own standards. But, you know, We need guys that can do this every week, somewhat, you know, Saka, El Nene, the guys I've said, you know, it is what it is. And as much as the young players were good, you see what happens when everybody stands up to be counted. It's not just the young players thing. Of course, I'm going to sit here and just waffle about HALE and probably Cedric. But when I'm seeing Cedric make an impact off the bench, when I'm seeing Holding and El Nene after a shaky period, and nobody was amazing per se, apart from the attacking players, they stood up. Tavares stood up, you know. People stood up to be counted, really and truly, even when we was making mistakes. And that's where it is. You can't always be at your best. Ben White and Ramsdale definitely got mistakes in them, but they're young players. They're going to do stupid things. Like Ramsdale's overperforming, really. And even when we was winning games, it's a bit like Lacazette. When we, you know, a lot of the things Lacazette was doing when our form was good, it's not that no one cared, but it was calm. Suddenly the narrative shift, and Ramsdale's been doing that. He's been having, yeah, you could have got a bit better there. You're kicking there. You've done this. You've done that. What didn't he do? Something booky against Liverpool. And he does. I'm not going to lie. I do think Ramsdale's had a tiny bit of a dip in form, but that's still my guy. Still my one of the future captains. He's 23 years of age, man. And I mean, we had to have expected that, really and truly. We had to have expected that, really. Of course, there was, you know what? It weren't even, there was one, what was it? There was some shaky defending, but there was throughout the whole game. But there was one time it's like Ramsdale's flapped at it and he's tapped it into a Chelsea man. Ben White's half cleared it. There was too much of that, and all the players in the box, like that's where Arsenal need to improve. Like specifically in and around our box, we're giving it away on the edge of our area. We're doing mad stuff, you know. Jack had done a skill there and got away with it, but how many times have we seen that kind of flop? So yeah, it was a bit of a shaky game. On one hand, yeah, it's not about the performance, it's about slugging it through. And arguably, as an Arsenal fan, I'm not going to sit here and cap. Maybe not so much for the heart rate, but you kind of wish you could kind of win ugly somewhat more often, really and truly. So I'm just making a timestamp. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 4. I love to say that. Reaction, Ramsdale, Eddie Thoughts. So yeah. In fact, now we'll save the Ramsdale Eddie Thoughts. But yeah, man, I still back at Ramsdale. He's just, yeah, man, have to fix up. They're gonna be volatile performances. And this is why, for me, we need to, in general, grab some experience is subjective, but some players that are kind of gonna, everyone has moments of form and loss of form, but some players that are kind of gonna do it for longer, because you know, Lacazette's form has dropped off. I won't go as far as to say Eddie's form has picked up, but he's got his first Premier League brace off the back of a decent game against Southampton. He's kind of picking up the mantelpiece. And before Lacazette, it was the Aubameyang thing. And, you know, there's been other times where Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, these guys have carried the team, so on and so forth. So we'll have to see. On one hand, that's what a squad's about. But on the other hand, that's why it needs to, you know, we need a bit more. Big up my guy Martin, balling out, so press resistant, unreal footballer. Trust, and I think there's a lot more to come from Martin Odegaard. If I'm completely honest with you, I think there's a lot more to come. You know, I think he's been quiet the last few weeks. I think he took about 20 minutes to really wake up, but once he got going, crazy, man. DJ, I know you're doing a humble thing right now, but I need you to cook Matisse later. There's nothing to cook him about, bro, because them men are doing their thing. Nah, we ain't getting top 4, but we're living right now. We're living right now. They did their thing yesterday, man. Our midfield pivot was as hard as nails, lad. Trust. Oh, Stamford Bridge, man, the dance floor. You see Saka and Gabriel doing them stiff dance moves. But we love it, man. We love it. Come on, that shed is burning down. I love it. And I love it even more. But yeah, on a serious note, banter aside, obviously, it is what it is. If I look at it first, our opponents, if I look at Chelsea, probably thought that, again, I don't think Tuchel, the players necessarily thought so. And my optimism was on the floor, so I get it. But I wouldn't quite say underestimated Arsenal, because you can only go off what we're doing, but I would say maybe underestimated the task at hand, assumed you wouldn't have to be at your maximum to win. You know, obviously Chelsea have had some injuries and they show whether you're Arsenal or Chelsea. Yeah, key players weren't there against Chelsea and we did what we needed to do. But previous weeks, what were we saying? I think it shows just how injuries can kind of harm a team. Like, don't get it twisted. They had enough out there to do well, but Saw out of his depth. I'll be amazed if he doesn't hit Lone Army again. You know, Christensen's looked shaky, got clipped. You know, Tuchel's trying to save him and talking about injuries and that. doing dumb stuff. His head's probably in Barcelona. Reece James, I do think we gave him too much room to cross, but I do think even the 2 goals he could have done better. The whole team, but I just think the first goal, Reece James, is that Chelsea are caught in transition. It's not really Reece James's fault. The second goal, on top of maybe Mendy, Thiago Silva, Kante, if I can remember, not Thiago Silva, sorry, Kante, Sarr, Mendy, these lot could have done better, but Reece James has kind of sold Aspilicueta short with a pass, and then it's gone to Tavares. Tavares has fed Eddie, and then it's just a shambles of a goal, and we'll take that really and truly. If I'm completely honest with you, the third goal they've been hit on the Reece James and Aspilicueta are actually in position. Alonso had a tough day defensively. Going forward, he was doing well. But no one's picking up Smith Rowe on the edge of their on Chelsea semicircle. So I think obviously Chelsea, and I think goals change games. I think the first 5-10 minutes, Chelsea should have put this game to bed because there was enough corners. They were onto us. There were periods, obviously, to be expected where we had to have everyone in our half behind the ball and things like that. But I think if you're Chelsea, that's what separates them from Liverpool beyond the obvious. If you know, Liverpool and City, them first 5-10 minutes, they kill the game there and then and whatnot. But they didn't. And as an Arsenal, that's something Arsenal need to learn as well, man. You know, really, really and truly. So yeah, it is what it is. Again, I screenshotted some stuff, people, quickly. So let me show you a lot and get through all of this. Keep your opinions and all of that good stuff coming. Again, what Eddie Nketiah gives you. Simply put, you know, obviously, I don't know if you lot can see too tough. That should be good enough, I lie. Should be able to do a thing with that, people. But yeah, obviously, Lacazette ain't going to get in this scenario. Obviously, I'm not going to gas it up. You expect a professional footballer, someone who's, you know, to score these sort of things. But Lacazette ain't going to have the pace. I reckon Sarr gets back. But this is why you're taught to gamble. Look, Eddie's on his back. Reece James is caught in the transition. It's not his fault because they're trying to go forward. This is what happens. You know, there's too many gaps. Now, Christensen's the full guy. Ultimately, it starts and stops with Christensen, kind of, because, well, a proper pass, Eddie doesn't have that first goal. Shout to Tavares. Tavares, who done quite well in the build-up to both of these goals. You know, technically, I give him a second assist for Eddie's goal, but it's not really. But him and Smith Rowe have done well. Eddie's already on his back. That's what's helped us. They're not nobody's really followed Eddie. To be fair, Sar's kind of read the situation. It was too late though. But that's what a striker just from running can give you, people. Just from a striker running, that's what they can give you. You know, just by having legs, not overcompensating because someone can't score or they can't run or anything like that. Now, as I said, Eddie and Nketiah, just like Ben White, they're the full guys. But we were very sloppy on the ball in periods. You know, at second half, you know, especially the midfield, they got with it. But numerous players from the defense to the midfield to the attack were giving the ball away too cheaply. We're clearing it to no man's land. It to Eddie. Eddie's fallen short here. Chelsea have done what they've needed to do. But while Eddie might have lost the ball, there's several phases we could have done better. This is probably better here. Saka's played it into Eddie. Obviously, Eddie's sold Xhaka short. And them man have gone in it really and truly. But there's several phases where he could have done better. Now, Ramsdale's left a lot of his area here, really. Ramsdale should do better. His starting position. I'm not a goalkeeping coach, but it's not the best, right? Yeah? Xhaka, Ben White, Rob Holding. Rob Holding's doing some half-turn thing. It's hit his face. Xhaka and Ben White not throwing themselves at it quick enough, really. That's our last line of defense. You got to take one in the face. We didn't do that. Werner scored a Bandulu finish. As you can see, we're not tight enough, and ultimately they've slapped that in, people. Well, eventually, as you can see, man are turning backs. Man are not getting tight. So let's be real, away from the emotion and the euphoria. And again, we probably would have conceded even if we didn't do any of these things too against Chelsea. But in the essence of improving, we need to do a lot better. We're an improved defensive side. We're not a good defensive side, pardon me, as I normally say, especially when we do things like this. So let's improve a bit. And I do think everyone was a bit shaky, and these lot might be the fall guys, but fundamentally, that is what it was, people. At 2-2, again, as I said, you know, Ben White, you had a terrible game, you know, in my opinion, but we won. Looking for fouls where it's not a foul. It's not a foul for one. And two, ball play to the whistle. That being said, you and Saka haven't done well enough. And again, several phases where this could have been stopped. It could have been stopped at root. And actually in the build-up before it got here. Now, for Tavares, switch on in it because Aspilicueta is a fullback. You're a fullback. Aspilicueta is a great player, despite the fact he wants to fight, man, but he's a thinker. Tavares, to go to that next level, you've got to think. He's bought a raffle ticket. There's two. That's quite poor from Chelsea anyways. There's two men in the box and one's Lukaku. So there's probably just one man that's able to do it. to go to that next level. And again, as I said, Tavares is still learning. He doesn't think like a defender. The minute Azpilicueta is thinking, Ramsdale again, you can kind of see him telling people. That's where Tavares has to smell the danger and get narrow. Like, you've got to want to not allow him to score more than Azpilicueta wants to score. Kind of half switched off. Kind of read the game when it's a bit too late there. So yeah, that's where we could have done. But as you can see, Azpilicueta, obviously the ball's eventually coming from around here. Azpilicueta is darted across. Tavares hasn't quite read that, but it is what it is. People away from that again. We were quite sloppy defensively, not to scale, but we were struggling to kind of clear our lines and all of those sort of things. And the game was a bit bandulu across several aspects. But as you know, nothing quite sums up a crazy 6-goal thriller like Granit Xhaka, who normally would lose the ball on the edge of his area, not Megan, man. He's obviously found Martin Odegaard. Odegaard's found Saka. They've played a 1-2. Eddie's made a good run and taken someone with him, Tavares as well, who I think Tavares did well up and down the field. Apart from maybe switching off for Azpilicueta's goal, which I wouldn't blame him because the root cause is the cross. If you send the text, someone's got to receive it. I think Tavares really had an encouraging game away from home. Not amazing, but you can get some managers' confidence now. And you done well against Southampton. You done well yesterday. You deserve your spot against United. But again, this game out the system, we've achieved nothing in it. We've still won one game in our last 4. It's not good enough. Smith Rowe's done the typical Smith Rowe thing and made the run. It's a fantastic goal, obviously. Not to scale. It's more so around here. He slotted. And to be fair, Smith Rowe could have had a couple more, if I'm completely honest with you. Again, as I said, Reece James is I don't think it's more Reece James's fault, but Reece James has played it to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta, I don't know what he's tried to do, thought it was all great, kissing the badge and whatnot. He's played it short. It's been picked up. Gabriel's pressing. Xhaka is not far behind, and Tavares is there. As you remember, Tavares has played it into Eddie. Eddie's some madness has happened. It's kind of cannoned off Sara and Kante, and eventually Eddie slapped it in. But this is what happens when you gamble and be brave and press together and all these sort of things. So I did like that. It was banduli, but I did like that. I don't know what point I was trying to make here. I don't know what point that was. We'll get into this Chelsea stuff in a second and see what's being said. Certain managers blaming the pitch and all them sort of things there. We'll get into all of that in a second, people. Away from that, let's see what the Twitter account Orbino has had to say about this victory that Arsenal have gone through. Arsenal beat one of last season's top 4 for the first time in 9 attempts across all competitions this season. And again, that's something that needs to be better if we want to be consistent top 4 and beyond, people. Which is crazy, people. This season, Nketiah has 7 goals in 7 starts for Arsenal in all comps, 2 in the Prem, and has as many non-league penalty goals too as Lacazette in the Premier League, despite playing 1,393 minutes less than the Frenchman. So let's not make Lacazette public enemy number 1, because all the Arsenal fans that have turned on him when it was all working, they didn't have anything to say beyond that. So again, it's just a flavour of the month thing. I think it highlights why we. Rowe was the first Englishman aged 21 or under to score 10 league goals in a season for Arsenal since Paul Merson, people. Saka's also done it as well. Arsenal have won away at Stamford Bridge more often than any other team in Premier League history, 9 times. That's our pitch, blood. That's ours, bro. We've lost just one of the last 5 trips to Stamford Bridge in the Premier League, drawing 2, winning 2, and losing 1. We have won 6 of our last 8 Premier League away games. Obviously, we came into this prior to Chelsea losing our previous 2, but that's why. There were 6 goals scored from 6 shots on target. So both teams are not killers in front of goal. Both teams struggle to create. Chelsea probably have, we're dealing with Aldi. They've got Waitrose. They've bought stuff from Waitrose that ain't really good enough. I know Havertz is a false 9, but he's not necessarily a goal scorer as great as he is, or the goal scorer they predicted him to be. Arguably, if Lukaku fit the system, maybe Havertz doesn't play as a false 9 consistently. And obviously, they tried to play Lukaku to get his confidence. Udinese, hopefully he stays there permanently. Both teams struggle to really create to the level they can, or really shoot. So that's a problem for both teams, especially Arsenal, and obviously the fact of both teams conceded some cheap goals. And history, Eddie made them out of nothing. Saka's goal was Arsenal's second Premier League. Sorry, was only Arsenal's second ever Premier League penalty at Stamford Bridge. Ian Wright, who's been inducted into the Hall of Fame, shout out Uncle Ian as well. That was our 200th. The hay fever is fucking with my nose, people. Sorry. I'm even like some of them Chelsea fans who were probably doing Charlie yesterday. And it was poetic justice because they were chanting Saka's let down his country. He didn't let us down. He stepped up and scored the penalty. And, you know, while he might have missed the penalty for England, but man don't care about Babylon. Who gives a crap about all of that? You know, Arsenal have won their 250th game. Brazy, man, and it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag, man. Arsenal have had 2 players aged 21 or under to score 10 league goals in a season for the first time since 1933-34. I am never going to get bored of these statistics, people. I would have loved Eddie Nketiah to get a hat-trick, people. You know, Aspilicueta does love scoring against us. Arsenal have conceded 10 goals from the last 17 shots on target faced. So, yeah, there's a lot that we need to improve on, people. A lot that we need to improve on. Brazy. Absolutely brazy. So yeah, man, that's that. What else have we got? Exactly, for the first time in the Premier League, 2 under-21 players have scored 10 plus goals for Arsenal in the same season. Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe. Come on, HALE and Demons. Shout out Eddie. Arsenal are unbeaten in each of their last 3 Premier League games. This upbeat run at the home of Chelsea since 2004 when Chelsea were founded. I have to, Chelsea fans, come on, man. It's all banter, it's all entertainment. Don't cry, man. Just hold that. Arsenal's record against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge from 04-05 to 2018-19. 15 games, 2 wins, 10 defeats. Under Mikel Arteta in the Premier League at the Bridge, 0 defeats, 2 wins in 3 games. So hopefully that continues. You know, Chelsea probably beat us next season, but he's where he is, people. When you look at Bukayo Saka's game by numbers, he won 100% of his tackles, had 52 touches, had 13 passes in the final third, scored a penalty, won it. Harsh penalty or not, Aspilicueta's got hands all over them. And I see Chelsea get weaker penalties every week. It's a bit of poetic justice because that pussy old Mason Mount should have been sent off. High Foot FC and whatnot. 9 possessions, 8 duels, 1 intercepted the ball 4 times, which is the most. 1 free fouls, 3 aerial duels, 1 crossed the ball twice, 1 take on and 1 gone. He was involved in the build-up as well. That was an Arsenal goal. That I really enjoyed the Smith-Rowe one. I'm not going to lie to you lot. Smith-Rowe's game by numbers, 100% in everything he did. In long balls completed, tackles won, and 100% of his take-ons. And I did think our front 3 in the first half were kind of in it and not in it. Not, when I say front 3, I mean it. The cam and the wingers, not exactly the front 3. They were a bit hot and cold. And look at my man, he's vexed. Boldies. Hey, 10 Hags and Pep Guardiola's and that. But anyways, you know, Eddie Nketiah hail him up as well. You know, and I think away from banter and stuff, I think football's a funny old game of opinions. This was a man released by Chelsea. He's now played in the Premier League and bagged 2 because we had Andy Cole. We all know what he did at United. It's a funny old game of opinions, people. And I'm happy for Eddie Nketiah because you want to see your academy players do well. I like to see my strikers get rewarded. You know, I know he made a mistake in the game, but I think he was with it. Like, even though he scored 2 goals, you know, I've asked for you to take your chances. I've asked for you to put yourself into the shop window if you're not going to stay here. In games like that, your agent's probably fielding some calls. 11 passes, completed, 7 duels, 6 passes completed in the final third, 8 touches in the up box, 5 shots, 3 aerial duels, 2 possessions, 2 shots on target, and obviously 2 goals for his troubles, man. So shout out Eddie Nketiah. 6 under-21 players have scored 10 plus league goals in Europe's top 5 divisions this season. Haaland, Vinicius, Saka, Smith-Rowe, Burkout, and Melinga, the former PSG lad. So yeah, it is what it is, you know. And the consistency is, can you keep doing this? All's forgiven because Smith-Rowe's finishing in the last few games has been a bit booky. Bukayo Saka the same against Southampton. You and Martin, well, it's Martinelli's not really relevant for now, but Martinelli should have bagged as well. So yeah. Big up El Nene. I think he was a bit rusty to begin with. And when last did he start? It was going to happen. But he did what he needed to do, people. And it deserves him. Put yourself in the shop window. Hopefully you get a decent move, man. 90% pass accuracy, 53 touches, 40 passes completed, 36 completed. 40 pass attempted, 36 completed. There was 1 forward pass in the first half where I was thinking, passes, 13 passes in the final third, 4 interceptions, which is the most. He won 1 foul and he won 3 aerial duels. So yeah, big up everyone who came into the side. There were, I don't want to say big decisions because at this point there's not too many players to play for Arsenal. But I wanted El Nene to come in. I felt Lokonga is a bit harsh to get dropped, but There's a certain sort of basicness you want from El Nene. So yeah, El Nene, Tavares, Eddie Nketiah, you've retained the manager's faith. But the players, you know, you've got to play for yourselves. And I saw that. That was a performance that tells me as a fan you wanted to react and try and make a meal of top four. That wasn't there against Palace, Brighton, or Southampton. So fair play to you lot. But today the game's gone in it with Banter, but Chelsea fans all day and all whatever in it. But it's done. Shout out El Nene. But yeah, no.
Happy, what's your view?
No, I'm trying to get in the box and he's holding me for about 5 seconds. You know, I have to go down. Like, of course, he's going to be angry at me. Of course, if I was him, I'd be angry, but it is what it is.
If I was him, I'd be angry as well, bro. Fuck Aspilicueta, man. Trying to fight youngers, trying to fight fans. You was just kissing the badge and stuff. And in the Premier League, and I think he's been a very shrewd addition. But the way he was behaving, pussy, I'd be rattled too. All of that. And you know your hamstring's hurting. You dud. Prick. Anywho, already ran that one. Well, look at this guy, bro. Says everything about this club, if I'm completely honest with you. You know, Havertz is starting handbags, you pussy. You know you don't want to fight. Mason Mount should have been sent off. You know you're not on it. The only one that we're shook of is Rudiger. Reece James knows that. Reece James, you saw in the handbags, he knows to tell his boys calm down. Man are getting shook at Gabriel, trying to activate on little kids. You pussy. You're bad for you're bad. Them man, they are only bad for guys that are humble. You're not bad for people that want it. You prick. Look at you. Are you fighting? Why are you arguing with Uncle, bro? Uncle's there, been doing up 9 to 5, got his way halfway across London probably to go watch you lot, and you're trying to fight him. Look what you doing. What you doing? You shouldn't have pulled Saka's shirt. Why are you angry, bro? Give this guy a spliff, man. What's wrong with you, pussy old man? What are you angry at? Why are you angry, bro? What's wrong with you, man? Fix up, man. I don't know why they tried to run Banter on Ramsdale like he don't enjoy this shit. Come on, you angry. Have some of that. Chat too much, man. Allow it. Half of you were Arsenal fans until we stopped winning shit. And some of you probably fucked off the City. Allow it, man. Allow it, man. Less talking. Shh. And I know there's a small section of Chelsea fans who always waffle about, oh, we own the pitch. Are you sure? I'm sure. Are you sure now? You sure you want to own that shit? Arsenal at the Stamford Bridge in the Premier League in recent seasons. Come on. 2 draws, 1 loss, and 2 wins. It's like, man. And this is poetic justice, isn't it, people? For a man that got released by the club, you know, the phone rang yesterday, bro. Comfy, we're living. So, yeah, we've already spoken about that. And what else did my bro, Bukayo Saka say? Talk to them, little chilly, man. I'm loving the personality a little bit now.
Yes, I told you before that, you know, we wanted to give the fans something to believe in us, and
yeah,
we've done that today. We showed fight, character. You know, it's a huge result for us.
Huge result.
For your money, what sort of performance was that?
Chat to them, Mike.
What sort of result?
I see free shining.
I think, like you said, losing 3 on the back, we wanted to bounce back, and I think everyone did that. You know,
get your money.
It's not easy. So credit to the boys, and the fans are amazing today. Yes.
You mean to tell me Eddie Nketiah has more goals in the Premier League than Hudson-Odoi? That HD cuts merchant. Allow it, man. Don't bring these fake star boys around my guys. And you know my thing. I can't not gas up Martin Odegaard, people. You know I have to run the propaganda. I would prefer him to be up there for goals and assists, specifically assists, but I'm ready to run this. Most chances created since November. You know the graphics done's an Arsenal fan, because look how we just cutting up the table and all those things. But nonetheless, 48 chances created. Better, you know, Kevin De Bruyne, Trent, and Bruno. He's in front of them, and to be fair, there's only 2 men on that list out of the other 3 that I consider serious ballers, people. So yeah, it is what it is where that's concerned. Moving away from all of that, as we've already spoken about that, on a Chelsea perspective, people, you know, Christensen said we need to look at ourselves and improve. That should either be an I or a you, because I'm sure Chelsea fans are probably thinking, yo, just pack your bags and go and join Xavi and that from now. Since Thomas arrived at the club, we've always been strong defensively. That's been our base to work from, and then knowing that our quality up front guarantees goals. Being solid at the back has always been a priority, and recently it's kind of been the opposite. We spoke about it in the dressing room because now we've conceded 10 goals pardon me, in our last 3 home games, and that's nowhere near good enough. I take 100% responsibility. Got back into the game quickly through Timo's goal. Right, man, I'm claiming that striker's finish, I guess. We kept making mistakes, though, and it's hard to keep bouncing. Both teams were mistake-ridden. Let's be honest. Away from the emotion, had we have won, I would have really analysed this game. I mean, lost, sorry. But we won. So it is what it is. Both teams were terrible defensively. We know we are better than this. And for me personally, I know I can perform so much better than what I showed. We need to pick our heads up and go again, which is true. Fair enough. Fair enough. And for Chelsea, now they just have to focus on their cup final. Thomas Tuchel, man, are blaming the pitch and all them things there. And it was funny to see him storm off people. He said, it was totally wild and open game in the first half. Already a 2-2 after we came back twice. We had a good start, but again gave the first goal away, which is possible to do these things in consecutive, which is impossible to do these things in consecutive matches, but we're doing it. We came back twice. We scored another 2 in the second half. We scored another 2 in the second half, unfortunately, for the wrong end. It's a level of mistakes, the number of mistakes in consecutive games here at home. It's impossible at this kind of level. You don't see this. It's simply impossible. But we're doing this at the moment, and you cannot win football games like this. To say the pitch is difficult to play here, it maybe sounds like an excuse, but it's you lot's pitch, isn't it? But and to be fair, so many players were losing their footing. But it's a very, very difficult pitch that we have here. It's not in our favour. The ball bounces very awkwardly in front of Christensen when he wants to play this ball. But still, we had the same mistake against Real Madrid that cost us the next round of the Champions League. And this one cost us the next match. I can't remember when we got 2 goals like this. Look at the penalty, and it's an unbelievable goal from our ball possession. There are no tactics behind it. We have 3 ball losses in 10 seconds. Then we do a foul, and that's true. There's not even the slightest danger. We foul a person, it is a penalty, and we rob ourselves of 6 minutes of an equalizer. What is there to analyze? There's nothing to analyze, and it's true. Experienced players are doing dumb shit. Respectfully, there's no need for Aspilicueta to have hands on Saka. Saka is not known for his aerial ability. You probably would have dealt with it. Harsh penalty or not, it's still a pen. You've got hands over him. You should know better than that. We conceded 7 goals with Tony against Brentford and Real Madrid. That answers the question. It's not about individual players. A defensive performance is a team performance, and an offensive performance is a team performance. Facts. You need to have the tactics right, which is doubtful. I had this right, and you need the team selection right. Again, it's doubtful. I had this right. I can't lie. Thomas Tuchel's a real guy, man. Like, he's taking responsibility of his own back, and I just love the way he speaks. Like, and obviously the grass thing sounds mad, but when you read what he said, it's not that deep. Then it's a game for the players. They get praise when they do it, when they did it for the last 3 matches, and they have to face the reality that it's impossible to win matches if you make this amount of mistakes of this caliber. It's simply impossible. I don't see it in any other matches, but I see it now in consecutive matches of our games, and it has to stop. Lukaku display not good enough for Chelsea, show desire. I mean, Lukaku was shit, but what did man expect? He's been shit. Like, I know Arsenal's the team to kind of get your form against and things like that, but what did man expect? Seriously. You know, Chelsea have lost 3 consecutive home matches in all comps, people, and that run has seen them concede 11 goals. So it's peak for Chelsea. Couldn't have happened to a nicer team. Chelsea have conceded 4 or more goals in consecutive home league games for the first time since December 1989, when they lost 5-2 to Wimbledon and Liverpool. Arsenal obviously got their 250th Premier League away win and their 726. Thomas Tuchel's side have, as I said, 3 home defeats in all comps for the first time since November 1993, when the third match in that run also came against Arsenal, plus Norwich and Oldham. Arsenal named 6 Englishmen in the starting 11 for a Premier League match with Ramsdale, White, Holding, Saka, Smith Rowe and Nketiah. The first time they've done so since a 3-1 win in September 2001, people. And I think, you know, Chelsea could have done a lot better. We could have done a lot better, you know, really and truly. So it's back to the drawing board for everybody, really. You know, for me, it was great, the 4 goals that we scored. Let's analyze them and take positives. But I more want us to focus on the 2 goals we've conceded, you know. To take it to the next level, I would say Arsenal, can we start games a bit better? Can we manage games a bit better? Not concede after we've cut, because it was 1 step forward, 2 steps back with the first 2 goals that went in. You know, other than that, second half was strong. I feel Chelsea came out the blocks firing in the second half, but pass a point, we look quite certain. We, you know, El Nene went up another gear. Xhaka went up another gear. Gabriel was just doing a madman thing. You know, everyone. Tavares had a decent game. It's a mixed bag. You know, no one was amazing per se. If anything, it's the attacking players or the HALE boys, but got the job done. And I don't know why, but it's not here. Where is it? I don't know why I haven't got it to hand, but in terms of the end of game possession stats and all them things there, we had 14 shots. Chelsea had 11. You know, we had 4 on target. They had 2. I'm not used to seeing Arsenal have more shots on target than the opposition. They had 68% of the ball. So for Mikel Arteta, I would say, you see what happens when you just score goals? We don't waffle about, oh, we expected goals. We had more possession and we done enough to win the game. No, you done enough to win the game against Chelsea. We never done enough to win the game against Southampton or Brighton and all them things. That is how you earn the right. Was it our cleanest performance? Of course not, if we're chasing the perfect win. But you won. You know, as I said, you know, they had 11 shots. We had 14. They had 2 on target. We had 4. They had 68% of the ball. We had 32. They made 704 passes. We made 332 corners. We only had 1 that game. They had 6. So it's what you do with the ball in that. And I hope we take heed of that and all of those sort of things, people. But yeah, I think that bit there ends that segment. If I'm completely honest with you lot, let me make some timestamps, people, because again, we're going to have to break that down even further and further and further. From minute 0, probably minute 0 to cool. It's always easy. I woke up happy, people. It's always nice to wake up when you've won. But yeah, that's that. Obviously, I'm aware of it. I'm not gonna sit here and cap. I ain't seen anything in relation to the other Premier League. I know City won. I think Mahrez and Bernardo Silva scored. We'll look at that. But yeah, what you lot saying, man? That was a hefty one. Stamford Bridge is falling down. Stamford Bridge is falling down. Fuck off, Roman. Reece James, this. Mount that. Hudson Odoi, this. Bring these. I always say I don't. Again, you always see me say I don't know them youths. I don't know them. Like serious youngsters only. I'll take it from Jadon Sancho and all these guys, not these pretenders, man. Let's inject because Saturday's brazy, man. Saturday's brazy. We just have to ride our highs and lows, man. DG, did you teach Saka the dark arts? Made a meal out of it. As you should. We're too honest as a football team. I'm not gonna lie. We're too honest. You know. We're not always. We need to start asking the ref how many, because Mount should. Other teams would have got Mount sent off as he should have went. It's no surprise that Arsenal played well against the bigger teams, Chelsea, Liverpool, City. The low block ain't there. Yeah. Though Smith Rowe's different with it, man. Let Laka go. Laka can go, bro. I'm trying to make a striker. Tavares bugs out, bro. The whole team bugs out. You know, Tavares, for me, the main thing with Tavares, he needs to learn to think like a defender. He's clearly a winger that's in the last few years been shifted there. You know, I don't necessarily, obviously, he needs to follow Aspilicueta, but as I said, stop it at root cause. You know, that's the last ditch sort of thing. If Tavares kind of puts him off, maybe we do a thing, but the ball's on the other end, you know. Mount's had time to look up. Anytime Mount respectfully is in and around your 6-yard area and he's got time to look up, you're in problems. Go back to, you know, someone mentioned Man City at home where we was decent, but the last minute of the game, we let Kevin De Bruyne get his head up. And then we lost our individual battles against Rodri and I think Laporte in Ben White and Rob Holding. To a degree, that's playing stupid games, winning dumb prizes. You know, as I said, Eddie Nketiah or Ben White are the fall guys for the goals we conceded, but that was coming. How many players? Every player giving the ball away very cheaply in key areas to Chelsea unnecessarily, and Chelsea were doing that as well. Not to cut you off, DG, but what do you make of this? Is football related? Apparently, Serena Williams, Lewis Hamilton are investing 26 million on paper, man. Chelsea have a poor record against the top 6 sides at home this season, only beating Spurs at home in the league. They drew 2, lost 2, and won 1. And they let Sancho's career kind of take off at United with this performance at Stamford Bridge. Hopefully Eddie Nketiah's thing does. Wanted to watch the game after I finished work yesterday, but someone spoiled the game on purpose for me. Of course, I'd missed the best game we've had in a while. I mean, it's not a movie. It's football, isn't it? Like, I watch the games twice more time, man. You know, unless I'm really bugging out or really intoxicated or something. Like, I'm pretty sure Arsenal, the first time I watched it, we won 4-2. The second time we watched it, we won 4-2. I'm extremely happy for Eddie. We needed him and he stepped up. However, Do we all still agree that he's not the answer, bro? Let's keep it a buck. Eddie's not the answer. Like, Eddie can put down a marker now. Maybe you can, first thing, you can put yourself into the shop window for other clubs, because reality is his contract's running down. The only happy man is his agent, because his agent, who I think is the same agent as Bukayo Saka, who's going to get a new deal, Jadon Sancho, and Balogun has just signed a new deal. Among everything, whether Eddie signs a new deal here and the signing on field goes elsewhere, his agent's laughing. But for Eddie, lay down a marker. Ian Wright said it perfectly. I do think when it's difficult to expect a limited player on one hand and expect a player in general to get little 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 10 minutes and do anything of note, really, which is what Eddie's got. But apart from, and I know we gas up him hitting the crossbar, but I don't really think he's taking his chances. I don't want to rewrite history on one game, but you took your chance. I feel no one was amazing against Southampton. We lost, but you took your chance. You did basic competencies. As I said, the bars on the floor when we're strikers are concerned at Arsenal Football Club, really, all positions, really. The minute Ramsdale showed me you could save, Tommy Ashley showed me you could defend, I'm ready to gas it up, innit, people? But yeah, hopefully this is his coming of age now. It's your spot to lose, I don't know if Eddie will necessarily start against United. I think he should. I think we might draw for Lacazette, who the work rate and experience and all of that, and is our captain. And he was doing a cheerleader yesterday. Great passion merchant, Lacazette. So yeah, use it as a platform to put yourself in the shop window. Maybe get a new contract. I do think Eddie's improved. I do think he scored them goals because he used to do this academy thing when he played in the first team, and that you're just waiting for things to happen. Now he's getting involved. He's mucking in defensively. He's trying to spin passes. He's dropping deep, and that goal has come because he's dropped deep and he's got onto Christensen. Really, he's making good runs. He's getting a bit stronger again. Beyond being a squad player at this football club, it's a myth for Eddie, in my opinion. Obviously, you can't write off a man at 22, as I always say. To be fair to Eddie, and you lot have always heard me say this, I don't think he's ever going to be mentioned in the same caliber as Jamie Vardy, Harry Kane, or Aubameyang. But what were they doing at 22 years of age? So I do think football fans can be a bit harsh. I do think he could turn a corner. But from a German club out there, I'm saying, you know what, I'm having that. I'll give Eddie a 3-year deal. You can stay here for 18 months. We'll get you for free. You'll make peace. If he wants to stay in England and goes to a British club, which I hope he does, because Arsenal get some compensation package. It is what it is. He's not the answer. Eddie's a squad player, much like Lacazette is. The problem we do is, we'll find, and this is where I need to learn now. We stumbled across the Lacazette thing. Lacazette, kind of like Eddie, played his way into the team. And then to go with Aubameyang misbehaving, we just ran with it. And we was hoping that would kind of be it to the end. I hope Eddie can, in these next 6 games, he can keep bagging, but we know that's not the thing. I don't mind. I've also said, you lot have heard me say, I would like Eddie and Nketiah to sign a new deal just so you can go out on loan. And maybe in the next year, we can see you're a squad player, or ching. Chelsea's the best example among everything because we played them. Chelsea would have tied down my man. I know Chelsea fans are vexed that he left prematurely, but they made peace. Chelsea make peace. We need to make peace, especially if we're self-financing, and that's where I hope we learn from the Balogun thing. If I'm completely honest with you, Balogun, I hope, he's still developing, doing his thing at Middlesbrough and whatnot. I hope he makes it at Arsenal. I really do. But if he doesn't, we've tied him down now. Hopefully he can make some cash for this football club, people, really, really and truly. But Eddie Nketiah, that's what Ian Wright was talking about laying down a marker. That's what Ian Wright was referring to about taking your chances. Take your chances. Arteta, let's be honest, Arteta does rate him. Arteta does waffle about him and stuff, but minutes don't lie. I do think Arteta likes him. He likes the way he trains. He likes his attitude. He always gasses it up. The language he uses with Lacazette and Eddie is very vague. He's specific, with Eddie Nketiah. I want him to stay, big future. He doesn't talk anything up or play anything down with Lacazette, in my opinion, But the minutes don't lie. You have, and there's nothing wrong with it, You haven't trusted Eddie, and until the last 3 games, it was working, People were saying, oh, Ainsley Maitland-Niles is out of the team, this guy, that guy, the third. It's a results-driven business. We was getting results, The minutes don't lie. Eddie, that was probably he played. The last 2 weeks has probably been the most football he's played from start to finish in any game, really. And he's got his first brace. Prior to that, he's been playing Mickey Mouse minutes. So you've previously heard me say, Rowe, if he does really rate Eddie, I would say, if I was Eddie, I'd say you're kind of full of ish because the minutes aren't correlating. So I hope he turns a corner. I hope we can ride off the form that he's performing in. I hope that, you know, typically when a contract is running down, unlike Lacazette, he can play above his skin and things like that. Happy to see what he's saying, but we can't rewrite history, man. You know, it's a long way to go before he's that guy. He'll go down in folklore for that, but you need to do it consistently, innit, really and truly. Crazy stuff, man. 6 touches in the up box. Half of those were during that pinball, diabolical for his second goal. Trust. DG, can you help me find the 5 people who triple captain Eddie? They'll also help me get next week's lottery numbers. To be fair, I did say Eddie would score in the 12th minute, and it was 12:40. The minute says 13, technically. DG, run the El Nene comp. Big up the Pyramid Perlo, the best Egyptian in the league, but yeah, I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. Give this guy. What's that? What's that? What's that? I big up Sweet Left Foot. I'm here to brag about the dub. So are we, man. So are we. So are we, man. It's brazy. Blaming the pitch nearly as bad as blaming the weather. Trust. He's sounding like Ty and that. It's crazy. It's absolutely brazy. You reckon Arteta keeps this same lineup against Man United? I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it, innit, really? I do think United's a bit of a different entity in that we should be on the front foot a lot more, but arguably that was a big reason as to why we lost. The reason we didn't beat United is because I don't think we followed runners. Anytime you play Bruno Fernandes, Cristiano Ronaldo, you need to follow runners. We failed to much like this game, the Chelsea one, we failed to hold on to winning lead several times. Obviously, Odegaard gave away a penalty. So it'll probably be a different game. It's probably written in the stars Ronaldo scores. And to be fair, considering what Ronaldo's gone through off the field, I don't cheer on opposite. The only goal I've ever cheered on that's been conceded by Arsenal has probably been Lionel Messi's goals. But for what Ronaldo's going through, I'll probably cheer that on. But it's a completely different entity. It's an early morning kickoff. They have had an extra 24 hours to recover on us. It's a completely different game. Both teams stink up the place in midfield. Arsenal probably have to be on the front foot a bit more in the United game for me. So yeah, maybe there's do you know what? I would say maybe the back three gave us a bit of stability and stuff, which in theory it does. But if we're honest with ourselves, Arsenal fans, really, would we say that really? You know, United shift to a back three and got slapped 4 goals. You know, we conceded 2 cheap goals, really. It weren't necessarily down to the system. It's more so our shaky defending. But whether it's a 4, whether it's a 3, considering the form we're in, we need to kind of improve defensively. And is that going to change in a matter of days? I don't know. Now, United's attack's good. Their defense is pretty poor. And I hope we can capitalize off Pogba probably missing. Hopefully, you know, well, not hopefully, but you'd like from a sporting point, Ronaldo not there and players still feeling sorry for themselves. But you never know. Absolute crazy, man. Odegaard was more central, which is where he's dangerous. Him and Smith Rowe were dangerous, edge of the D. Last 3 losses, it was all out wide and in front of the opposition. And I mean, big decisions from Arteta. Well, I say big decisions. You ain't really got much to choose from, but, you know, I think people would have looked at why are you forcing Smith Rowe and Odegaard into the lineup? You know, Saka to left back would have been something as well. You know, I don't think anyone's complaining about the 3 at the back or the individuals that came in or necessarily El Nene. If Eddie Nketiah was shaky, people would have said maybe Laka should have started, or again, we would be looking at January and what was going on there. It's absolutely brazy. Passion, desire, intensity. Nah, man, it's not about form. Both teams are shit, man. Both Arsenal and United are shit. Let's be honest. Both of us have a stinky midfield. Both of us, when we win, sometimes it papers over the cracks and whatnot. Yeah, we're both meaty. Like, we're both extremely meaty. We need the smoke against Man United. We do, man, but we're gonna need a lot more than just that. Don't forget, people, I'm going live at 11:30 across Twitch and YouTube again. It's gonna be brazy. What else have I missed out? Again, oh, sorry, people, off topic. I ain't watched none of these games. I can't comment on them, but just if you don't know, I'll update you on the Premier League yesterday. Seems like the title race is still alive and kicking. If I can remember correctly, Manchester City did actually beat Brighton. Let me actually confirm that. Last time I checked, it was 2-0. But Brighton actually lost 3-0 away to Manchester City. I'm sure Graham Potter would take that, really. 6 points against the North London ones, really and truly. And now this, again, Mahrez, Foden and Bernardo Silva all bagging in the second half. 3 left-footers. Crazy stuff. Kevin De Bruyne and Mahrez also got assists. So, yeah, Man City 3, Brighton 2, Arsenal 4, Chelsea 2. A last-minute dramatic equaliser from Everton saw them draw 1-1 and denied Leicester the chance of 3 points. I think Leicester might be the only team worse than Arsenal at bottling victories from winning positions this season. They never keep a clean sheet. They never hold on to it. I could be wrong, but they bottled it from a winning position against Everton in the last minute. And forgive me if I'm wrong. Did they not do that against Newcastle? I'm sure Bruno Guimaraes bagged 2 against them. I might be capping to you lot. But yeah, Barnes scored in the 5th minute. Richarlison scored in 90 minutes of added on time. And to be fair, Everton have Chelsea next. I would have said previously maybe Chelsea would have done their former boy a favour, but probably not now. And for Leicester, again, bottled it. From what I heard, Maddison had a very good game. I'm a big James Maddison fan, as you lot know, but I can't verify any of that. I never saw it. Newcastle, again, Eddie Howe, I don't think he'll win it. Pardon me. But he definitely deserves Manager of the Year award nomination. Like, for me, my Managers of the Year awards, and I don't really have a winner. Pep, Klopp, they've got to be there. They're doing good things. If Arteta gets 4th, then I think Arteta should just get a HALE up for that. Who else is there? Eddie Howe, if I haven't said that. Patrick Vieira, massive turnover of squad, talking about relegation, clearly overperforming. There might be a couple of others, but yeah, you get the point. Newcastle were kind of where Watford are, or Norwich in that manner, just assuming they're going down, but they beat Crystal Palace 1-0. So yeah, and obviously yesterday Liverpool 4, Manchester United 0. So yeah, brazy midweek of football. Who is in my FPL team? Because I'm sure I've got Smith Rowe still. Don't know though. I've given up on FPL. Who cares, man? Just happy we won. It's absolutely brazy, man. Ten Hag announced as manager. Worst kept secret. Shout out to Ten Hag. And again, if Man United fix up off the field, then they're going to be lit. New manager bounce going to help us on Saturday, probably, because everyone's going to have to fix up. Certain players that can't get a game are going to get an opportunity. Certain players that were assured to play all the time are not going to necessarily play. Sorry, people, before we get out of here, there is some other stuff that is going on in the world of football. I mean, maybe have Sky Sports literally just announced this Ten Hag thing? Because it's not on their website. They must have literally just announced that. Is it on Man United's website? No, yeah. So it's on Man United's website. So yeah, literally just come out. So yeah, there's some other quick little football bits and pieces. Worst kept secret, Ten Hag's been announced. Man United is delighted to announce the appointment of Erik Ten Hag as first team manager, subject to work visa. He has signed on a deal until the end of June 2025. Well, end of the season, June 2025, with an extension of a further year. So yeah, they've got him, and it seems like there's a crazy turnaround going on United off the field. You see certain scouts have left. Once again, I would be very fantastic things at Man United, but they need to buy into what he's doing. You can't just say, well, your Ten Hag is going to work out, because that buying players and manager approach hasn't worked. You need to commit to it. You need him to be able, you need to back him all the way. If he doesn't want certain players, like if he doesn't want Ronaldo, you need to let him make that happen, really. You need to support him. If he's trying to make apple juice and he's asking you for apples, don't bring him oranges and mangoes. You're not going to have the same ingredients, are you? They're ultimately the same recipe. So yeah, shout out to Ten Hag. Ten Hag has been confirmed. No clue why that's there. Where are we now? Allegedly, Paul Pogba is likely to leave, and his representatives are in talks with Real Madrid, Juventus, and I'm pretty sure if we scroll down, we'll see PSG. Big up to all the Hall of Famers, people. Premier League Hall of Fame has some new inductees. You've got Peter Schmeichel, Vincent Kompany, Didier Drogba, Paul Scholes, Sergio Aguero, and save the best till last, Mr. Ian. Right. All deserving that. All deserving. Them 6 players all deserve to be there, really and truly. And they join Wayne Rooney, Patrick Vieira, Thierry Henry. Who else is there off the top of my head? Is Ryan Giggs there? I don't know. But yeah, they joined these lot. Aguero deserves it. Football heritage. You know, and he's probably, Paul Scholes probably should have been the first United player in there, really and truly. Jogba's there. Company's there. Ian, right. Big up Uncle Ian, man.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
Man United say they'll educate supporters after Hillsborough taunts, and there's some, you know, football's fucked, man. You've seen the things with United and City fans, you've seen things with Liverpool fans before, you've seen Arsenal and Spurs fans, you've seen a lot of football fans just do fuckery. Even yesterday, it's not the same, but Chelsea unsavourable chance to Bukayo Saka. Some football fans are scummy in it, but yeah, that's where the other news is concerned. People induct El Nene, boy. Stop the cap, we're rolling over for Arsenal now, man. I'm actually not confident for United. I'd actually say 1-0 Man United, to be honest. As much as I want to be wrong. It is what it is. What's the time? 12 minutes until we're live again, folks. 12 minutes until we're live again. Let me get out of here and actually fix things up. Is there a channel to raid? Because we don't necessarily do that. Oh, second yellow card. Look, go watch Football Manager for a bit. And I'll be back at 11:30 where we'll still be waffling about Arsenal. Not the same things, because there actually isn't anything else to go over. But yeah, man, you get the point. So yeah, on that note, I'll catch you lot at 11:30 across YouTube and Twitch, people. And again, it's a fantastic live stream. Man is saying put Sancho and Ronaldo in your FPL. Ronaldo probably. I don't think I have enough for both. So yeah, man, you lot stay blessed, take care. I'll see you lot in a second.
Because you always just that active red flag, defending. I think it's like